This weekend we had the most mountaintop experience in probably all of my Ohana history.
This is the Unleash Your Purpose podcast.
We had an opportunity within my foster care and special needs organization to take over 200 foster kids and special needs individuals up to the snow to a winter camp. We got this amazing opportunity to go to one of the best camps in town. The weekend that we were going, they got over 2 feet of snow, and it was a memory in the making. When we got up to camp, the days before, it snowed literally 18 inches, and we were frantically worried, how in the world are we going to get up there? We had to take over 40 vans to get up to camp. And as we made our way up there, we kept checking the weather to see if the roads were going to be clear. Early in that morning when we were supposed to leave, the roads were entirely closed. I had nervous drivers and staff worried about what in the heck we were going to do. And we just hoped and prayed. And I thought of contingency plans of having to switch the day, but we've already reserved this camp and fundraised to get over $100,000 to pay for all of these kids to go to have a weekend experience like no other. And by God's grace, the roads got cleared and we headed up to Williams in northern Arizona. And as we got to the top, we got 20 vans up to camp. But then the snow started to come down again, and there was this big hill on the way up to camp. And I got a bunch of these minivans and 12 passenger vans making their way up. And of course, one of the vans gets stuck in the snow, and its wheels start to turn, and it just gets stuck, and it's continuing to grind. And then another car gets stuck behind them, and another car gets behind them. And by the time I get word, I have 10 cars stuck in a line going up the hill. Then to make matters worse, the sheriff's office, followed by the city of Williams police department, all come up and are trying to decide what to do. They're telling us that we have to have all the kids leave and go back down to Phoenix. I have kids with special needs who have been traveling in a car for multiple hours, kids who are in foster care who have never seen the snow, beyond excited, and we have paid and reserved this camp. So I ended up sitting and talking to the cops, trying to be as calm as possible, and we ended up being able to get up there and pushing over 10 vehicles up and going through the snow. Thank the Lord that I have been lived in Flagstaff in the snow for many years, and was able to recall all of my snow days to be able to get us up and moving. And we get up to camp, and it is a moment I will never forget. What we have created within Ohana is that we want to create these moments where kids can be kids, and snow is coming down and we're celebrating. And we ended up having this amazing snowman building contest where we had over all of our 40 homes, each had their own snowman to build. And the creativity and the joy and the excitement that these kids was honestly priceless. As I was enjoying this camp and kids were dancing and having a good time, I found myself getting not just caught up in the moment, but honestly like forgetting the moment. And I was thinking about the next thing. See, I feel like I have this sickness where my ambition can be the thief of joy, and that my sense of progress can get in the way of the present and being just content in the moment. I was at the breakfast hall, and all the kids were at each table getting served family meals, and we had 40 volunteers come and serving each kid as they sat around their home as a sense of family. And kids were smiling and laughing and getting excited for the day. And I'm standing there talking to a friend of mine about what solutions we can come up with to help these kids in the future, and help them maybe launch a thrift store or some kind of new endeavor. And my buddy comes to me, he says, "Ryan, stop for a moment. Put your head up and look around." And I looked around, and I looked at 50 tables full of kids smiling and laughing. And he says, "Look at this. This is enough. Take it in." And for me, I had to take a breath and embrace the moment that for 7 years, 8 years of taking kids on vacations, this was the very first time we've ever got someone up to winter camp. We had 300 people going up, and we had enough money to do it. We had 300 people experiencing the snow and having family-like experiences. They got to hear about the love of God for the very first time. Wow. What an honor. And how quickly I can get caught up. And I don't know if you're like me, like sometimes my drive can steal my joy. And I have to learn, continue to reinforce myself that my drive, that the next thing will be there tomorrow. And I need to embrace today. Friends, we have to embrace today and learn that the moments that we're taking in is life, is what we deserve and what this life is all about. So after I reset myself and looked out at all of these kids that I have the privilege of helping to lead, that rest of the day was just filled with so much. That night we had session and kids were dancing and having a great time. And we talked about the love that we have for one another and the love for God. And it was so beautiful. And kids were coming up and sharing their stories. And at the end of the night, we go into the gym and we have glow sticks. And kids are just having the craziest dance party. And I have adults with special needs. And what makes me so excited, and my wife comes up to me and she's like, Ryan, you know this is a picture of heaven right now. She's like, look right here. We have a 60-year-old woman with a walker who struggles and is barely verbal. And she has glow sticks that her staff put in her hair and glow sticks on her wrist and is bobbing and dancing. And her 4 staff are circling around her as she is dancing to the different music. And then I have kids with disabilities dancing on my right. And then I have a group of teenagers who are siblings in a foster care home dancing and just laughing and having fun. And I have staff all over just circling around and dancing. To me, it was a picture of heaven on earth. It's about the joy of the moment and something I'll never forget. See, the significance of what is being created is something so beautiful. And I think as individuals, we have to get into this habit of just being content in the moment and being present. And I just took a moment and just was like, I needed to mentally reset that it's not about tomorrow, that tomorrow will worry about itself, that I can worry about today. And today, these kids are dancing. Today, these individuals have dignity and have a sense of family and are experiencing hope in new life. And that is more than good enough. So when I think about our future, that is good. But sometimes what is more important is for us to just be grateful in the moment.
Thanks for joining us for the Unleash Your Purpose podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. We'll see you next week.